welcome to Layback with Betfair. Joined by the A-team, we're back. Hello and welcome to another edition of Layback with Betfair. All eyes turn to Brisbane this week as the Doomben 10,000 headlines a cracking card of racing up there. My name's Nick Foote. I'm your host for the show today. We've got the usual suspects back in the studio. Tom Haylock, Reece Goodwin. Reece, good morning to you, mate.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, good morning to you. To you all. God, I'm having a
Where are we
tongue
racing
twister.
up in Queensland?
Is it Doomben? I haven't heard much about it. So I think it's Doomben anyway. But yeah, look, we've got a cracking weekend of racing, so looking forward to get stuck into it. That's for sure.
Tommy, how's it been since last week? How did we go on the bet last week? I know your lay streak bet won, so you're back to $100 in that department. But did you find any winners?
That took you 12 seconds to bring up. Thank you. No, half the field was scratched, and that was good.
That was the reason
for it. The two horses I was keen on to beat it were scratched. So
fair enough.
There we go.
Was Steffi Magnetica in that race?
Yeah, she's going around in
it's
a
Group 1.
I know, so he would have won. So
Looks
that came out. Anyway, it's not just Doomben. We've got great racing at Scone Friday and Saturday. We're pushing the Scone Cup Friday. We've got Flemington. Andrew Ramsden looks a good race as well. So hopefully these tracks hold up. Doomben, soft 7. I've spoken to a couple of people up there. Even though there's 0 to 3 mils forecast, I'll be getting 10 to 20. So much more than the forecast rain. So really depends how much rain falls up there.
I saw 0 to 9 this morning. The downgrade to a 7 today on Thursday as we're recording, and 0 to 9. We could dead set be racing on a heavy or a good at the moment. So I've done soft form.
And we all know what happens. It mainly comes down to rain on the day too. I mean, if you can have a clear morning into the race day, that helps a lot. But if you get showers leading into it, that's when it obviously deteriorates pretty quick.
Yep.
Before we get into the racing and some more in-depth analysis there, we've of course got to get to the lay bin. And Tommy, this is your therapy each and every week. And he's just
opened up the shoulders.
He has opened a bed so I can lay there.
That's right. I'd be scared you'd actually fall asleep on the show. What do you got for us this week, Tommy?
Novak Djokovic. He permanently in the lay bin. But
not a fan.
Great tennis player.
Okay.
Probably the GOAT. But he needs to harden up a little bit. Remember that time he won the Australian Open with a 2-centimetre tear in his hamstring? That was lived permanently in the lay bin. But he got hit by a water bottle the other day, some tournament overseas. A water bottle fell from a metre above him off some guy. It was an accident. Some guy's
It was an accident.
backpack. It was. I had to outline that.
Spoke to the bloke.
I haven't seen this. What was it? Off the check?
So though he was signing autographs, and someone leant over and it fell off his backpack and hit him. He went down like he got hit by an aeroplane.
Like he got run over by Shane Mumford.
Yeah, correct. He went down. He came out the next day, lost his match, and then blamed getting hit with the water bottle the day before.
You can't.
Not even joking. He said in his press conference that the reason he
that
lost,
water bottle rocked him.
It rocked him. He said he was bleeding. He was up all night. It was a water bottle from a metre.
Sound like it had concrete in it.
Mustn't have been an accident. Lay bin.
Good lay bin. Just a bit of harden up for the world
best
number 1, if you don't mind, from the Betfair number 3. That's a huge call. No, you're our number 1, Tom. Always will be, mate. Always will be. Short, sharp edition.
You got anything?
No,
what about his comment off the top?
Yeah, no, I'll let him go.
Oh.
That's
which
all right.
Which one?
Yeah, true. There's been a couple of them this morning.
You said how good you look.
We had a false
Doomben
start.
can probably get in the lay. We've got that many mentions.
We had a false start today.
Just a false start. We should. You said Doomben 18 times in a 15-sentence preview.
And then I got to the end of it and hoped that we weren't at Eagle Farm. So no, it's been a slow start. Take 2 was much better, and no one needs to know about that. Let's go to Flemington now, where obviously we've got a terrific meeting headlined by the Andrew Ramsden win, and you're in to the Melbourne Cup. What's the weather looking like, Tommy, and the conditions that we can expect here in Victoria?
I think the track will be fine. It's currently soft 5, beautiful sunny day outside. I think the weather's meant to be okay. So I've got it down soft 5, good forward drive, so well. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, definitely. Nothing around. It'll probably firm up by the end of the day. I think it's one of the best raining tracks we've got in Australia, let alone without any proper rainfall. I mean, if we get a dew early in the morning, that might help it get through the day, but I'd say there'd be an upgrade throughout the day for sure, 2 or 3.
And shout out to Newcastle last week. that is the best draining track in New South Wales.
Spence was on, wasn't it? Took him a while to work that out.
It wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
It was actually track played quite well, better than a lot of others. Caulfield and Morphettville struggled a little
Tracks have been in
Yeah.
the firing line again for Tommy.
Big fan of Newcastle. Just need to sort out the street pole finishing posts. Just sort it out. Not that hard.
Yep.
If you can invest in such a good track,
Maybe
you can,
Betfair could sponsor the winning post.
That'd be good.
not a bad
Come
call.
out of my salary, that.
Hey, we're going to
You get
preview
paid?
a couple
How
of
much?
races at Flemington. The first race we're going to preview is race number 7. It's the listed straight 6 handicap. It is, of course, the straight 6, 1,200 metres. It's a deep race. It's a good addition. Stapati's a $6 favourite, which gives you a bit of an indication of just how deep the race is. And he returns off a couple of nice jump outs, trials, drawn 1. There's been some early money for who I think is the most fascinating runner on the card in Joyful Fortune, who's off a big break here first up. And then there's just a host of runners that have been racing in pretty good form, Tom, that can measure up at good quotes.
Yeah, spot on. I need a lot more time to dissect this. There's a few horses first up. You mentioned Stapati, Joyful Fortune. Barriers are always very interesting. Obviously, this is race 7 of the day, a couple of straight races prior, so you get an idea of where they're coming. Stapati's a key chance on barrier 1, which is very interesting. I love Joyful Fortune as a horse. He's proven down the straight. He's proven in all conditions. He ticks a lot of boxes, and obviously he failed once last campaign. That was in Everest. So it's a fascinating race. I need more time to just be confident about the race, so I'll hand it over to Reece.
I'm going to stick with Pintoff here. This is an extremely open race. I would not be shocked if any of these bob up and win. But we were I think you were with him too, Footy first up. There was as much as 21s went up, and he started 650 in the Hariba. Winner of that race, Mahab, is here. So he does have to improve, but that was a long layoff there. I like that he gets onto a bigger track. I don't think Mornington was his track. His last 2 wins were at Sandown, which is obviously a much more roomier track. So he's drawn just inside middle of the line. Hopefully Harry can work his way to outside runners, but I think I need to stick with him again because if he improves second up, which I think he will, I'm not on him. I'm going to be dirty with myself. So he's a nice price, and I'm going to be with him each way.
Or mental health bet.
There's an interesting runner, hard to say here as well. Dual nommed here and in the Ortensia as well. Matches up very well in both of the races. The last start win at benchmark 94 level at Rose Hill was very good. Nemeth's also another dual nom runner for Mitch Beer, who looks well placed at a big price wherever they choose to go with him. I might have more than the one bet in this race. At the moment, though, I'm going to just have something small each way on number 12, Celsius Star for Philip Stokes. Big price, I think, can run a very cheeky race. That Stokes yard is on fire at the moment. So
you backed Adelaide horses in Melbourne, you'd be up. They just come over
They
here
do.
and target these races and take them home for fun.
yeah, and Philip Stokes horses in Adelaide as well. We saw Climbing Star obviously win the Group 1.
Ran very
Stretton
well the other day
Angel
too,
ran,
Climbing
Stretton Angel second, Climbing Star third again last week
He
in
brings the
Goodwood.
Group 1 jockey over too.
Yeah, Lockie Neindorf goes on. So, it's aggressive placement. And the fact that he's given someone like Lockie Neindorf the opportunity to come over and ride in a good prize money race at Flemington, I think, it adds a little bit of merit to the case as well. But Celsius Star finished around the likes of Scripper and What You Need in that John Hawke Stakes, who went on to run pretty well in the Goodwood as well. So I think he's one that can measure up around $31, $7.50 on corporates at the moment. So I'm just going to play Celsius Star each way, but I don't think he'll be my only bet. There's a lot of angles in this race.
Yeah. Quaddy will be interesting.
Massive.
Almost, because you could have 15 and still not.
I think
almost,
he'd be silly just not to go to the field.
Yeah,
There's that many
or you
chances in
just
this race.
narrow it down to 2 or 3 you like and hope you.
It's either wide or skinny.
Let's move on to race number 8 now, which is the listed Andrew Ramsden, 2,800 metres. Win and you're in, of course, to the Melbourne Cup. It's somewhat had a little bit of... it's always been cursed a bit, this race, in terms of the win and you're in. Luna Flair won the race last year, Point Nepean Pryor, and then Realm of Flowers, who suffered an injury as well in 2021. So it'll be interesting to see who wins this year and gets that ticket into the race. Tom, do you have an opinion of the race? How do you see it unfolding?
Got a bit of an opinion. I found it very tricky to find the winner and narrow down who wins. Now, you've got 4 of these through the Mornington Cup on April 20. Estifuni won that. Estifuni. Little Mix was second. Esti meets better at the weights for that 1.2, or meets Esti better at the weights for that defeat, 1.2 length defeat. Strawberry Rock was fantastic there. He's probably the one that I wanted to be with from the Mornington Cup. Now, mostly Cloudy ties into that form. Met in the Roy Higgins, met Strawberry Rock, and probably was a better run there. Mostly cloudy. He went up to Sydney, ran in the Sydney Cup, failed there. We know he stays. He's come back in fine form. He's got to be in the mix. Then you've got the horses through the Adelaide Cup, Acceleration, the Map. We've seen the Map win dominantly since. Ran some fantastic sectionals at the end of 2,500 metres there. Acceleration rises 5 kilos, the Map 3.5 for that Adelaide Cup run. So you'd think the Map beats Acceleration home on the back of that, and you've seen the Map since.
Acceleration had a couple of jump outs that looked really nice, though.
Yeah, one jump
certainly kept up to the mark.
Yeah, exactly right. So I found it. There's a lot of angles. You're keen on one here, and I'm gonna ask you a couple of questions. So I'm interested to hear why you're keen on one.
I'm keen to spec Lionel, and he said that very diplomatically, Tom, because before the show he goes, "I'm going to poke holes in this," and I am with number 9, Lionel, who I think looks pretty well placed second up in Australia after that nice. I'm going to call it an Andrew Ramsden trial at Mornington over 2,000. It was a fastly run race, finished off very well, and has had a 1,400 metre jump out between runs, now out to 2,800 metres. Some of his figures from Europe certainly match up to a race like this.
Yeah, but they're listed races. Like, obviously he was good last start. He ran 30. I think if you're backing Lionel confidently, you're guessing here. I genuinely do. I think it's a guess, and he might win because he's trained by Mara and he's got that X factor, but it's a guess. He got beaten by a horse that was beaten 50 lengths to start prior to that run, and then came out and got beaten 30 lengths after that run. This horse that ran second there. I can't work out how he's $6. He had a pretty good run last start, so he worked through and
he was first up in a fastly run race.
I'd see that,
and he's in the right stable to bounce out of that. I'd be a far cry from calling it a guess that an import for this stable, second up in Australia, isn't going to improve.
He'll improve, and he could well win easily. So I'm not laying him or anything. I just think it's an educated guess. I mean, he ran third.
That's what punting is, Tom.
Yeah, I know.
We sit around and we guess.
This is a big
with
guess.
Education,
you
with
sound
data.
like you're poking holes in Tom.
Yeah. Well,
I just
he's brought a lemon to a knife fight.
Is 2,000 up to 2,800 metres? You're guessing that's going to spark huge improvement here.
Well, he's got form around 2,800 metres in Europe. He's
guessing that he's
placed
good
at
enough.
The level.
He ran an Irish Derby, obviously, which is a good race. He got beaten 400 metres there. Like, he got smashed. He got beaten 33 metres. Is he as good as the market says he is?
You're the bloke that jumps up every single autumn carnival and spring carnival when there's a European stayer and screams they're better than us. And now you want to poke holes in me backing something at $7 second up in Australia in the right camp. I mean, I'm all for the argument, but pick and choose your fights, Tommy, because this isn't a hill you can die on, I don't think.
It is guesswork, because I don't think that he's coming off a handicap Mornington race and he steps up to an Andrew Ramsden. I concede he can.
How's the depth of the Andrew Ramsden though?
Not bad. I think it's actually all right this year.
You're looking at you basically. I'm taking him over the Adelaide Cup form. Yeah. And I was a big fan of the Map. I backed the Map in the Queen Elizabeth II Stakes, so I think she's a good mare. Acceleration, not sure about the gap between runs. The jump outs were good, but I'm backing in Lionel. I'm backing in the stable. I'm backing in the rating that I've seen from his runs in Europe. Simple as that.
Fair enough. I don't have a strong opinion.
Have we got time for me to have a say?
Nah. Move on.
You like anything, Reece?
Yeah, no, I'm with Acceleration, and I'm not going to get stuck into these. This horse has more weight than last time clash. This is 2,800 metres, and generally I just want to find what the best stayer is, and Acceleration's beaten the Map. I don't think there's any query between runs. He's had 2 trials and looked very good in them. I just can't back the Map at 280 and then see Acceleration at 10-1.
Yeah, I thought
each way bet. I honestly thought there was 3 live hopes, and they're the 3 horses we've spoken about: Acceleration, the Map, and Lionel. I probably am a little bit sceptical at Lionel at that price, again, only because of Acceleration. I just think I'm going to be with the horse at the better price that we know runs a trip, is in form. I don't think there should be any queries at all between runs, because this is a ticket to get into the Melbourne Cup. I don't think Richard Kelly's saying this horse is going to improve out of this race. I think he's going to have him pretty wound up for 2,800 to try and get his ticket into the Melbourne Cup. So 1x3 play with him, and I might even play the trifecta, those 3. I have them well up in contention of running top 3.
If Lionel was trained by Richard Cully, he'd be twice the price, I reckon.
Probably, yep. But
yeah, I just thought he was a bit short. I went looking for him because I know I respect the international guy. I was just shocked that he was $6 off that.
I'd be shocked if Richard Cully was operating in the European market and bringing imports in.
Poor Richard, he's not even
It's
here
a
to stick up
strange,
for
it's
himself.
a strange argument Tommy's bringing here, and
he won the Adelaide Cup.
Yeah,
I cannot wait for the group message to light up at 3:35. Let me tell you, it's going to go one way or another.
I just thought
I'm the only one.
Cover yourself now. It could win easily.
Oh, good.
Well, I'm the only one having a bet. I'm the only one that's sitting here with the courage to actually have a bet and back something in the race. So that's where I'm at. Hey, Tommy, before we move on to our other two tracks north of Victoria, you wanted to just touch on race number 10. You've got a couple of plays here, which is it's a 3-year-old handicap. It's the Trevor Clark handicap over 1100.
Yeah, I found it a tough day with the race we previewed to find bets, so I've went looking for some alternative races that I'm pretty keen on. Fascinating race. Now, Icarus, we mentioned Barry's won down the straight. It's going to be a massive concern, but by now we'll have a fair idea. 14 horses down the straight. They'll come from the middle anyway because they centre the barriers. So won't be hard fence, but Icarus is a fascinating horse. I think 3 horses can win this. She's will show against Icarus and Harry Got Styles. Icarus was enormous. I don't know if you guys have seen it. There was some win at Sandown, back and trip.
Second horse ran well again yesterday too. Hear the crowd.
Yep, we won yesterday. So
didn't win, ran well then.
It won.
Hear the crowd.
Did it win?
No.
There you go.
But it ran well.
I can't remember. So this horse came down the middle. He ran the third fastest final 200 metres of the day off a fast tempo there. The time rated through the roof. It was the quickest of the 3 1,200 metre races on the day. Huge win, just the barrier. If it had drawn 8 or 9, I'd be all over this horse. The other one is Harry Got Styles, who I got a huge opinion of. This was the horse that won since came out and won at Sandown Wednesday.
You knew you were onto something.
The horse that beat it last start since come out and won on Wednesday at Sandown. Big gap to third when they met last start. I've got a big opinion of him. He's drawn well. So Tommy 2 play. I'm with Harry Got Styles and Icarus there. Scared of she's shenanigans. She goes into multiples, drawn the outside.
What's your preference? One Direction Harry Styles or solo artist Harry Styles?
One Direction.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like his early stuff too.
Yeah.
Hey, let's head far north first and go to Doomben, which is looks a cracking card up there as we start turning our attention to some of these black type races now as the Queensland Carnival comes into full swing. And we mentioned at the top of the show, it's an ambiguous weather forecast. The track was downgraded to a 7 this morning. The rail's in the true position. How are you attacking the meet, Tommy?
Yeah, speaking to a couple of people up there, up and in preferred especially when it gets wetter. So we'll monitor conditions. I think we'll be on a 7. I don't see it drying too much. That's how I've done the form. It could be on a heavy 10 if they get more rainfall than forecast. Who knows?
Let's kick off in race number 6, which is the Group 2 Spirit of Boom Classic. It's for the 2-year-olds running to set weights over 1,200. It was formerly the Champagne Classic. Has just been changed because Prince of Boom won this race in 2021, of course, and Sofrado was the latest winner of the race. This looks... we've got a couple of nice Victorians heading north here with the likes of Angel Capital and Rich Dotty. Are you keen to get involved in either of those, Tommy, or have a bet in the race?
Oh, it's a really good race, actually. Really good race. Not too many with speed, which is interesting. I think Tiger T controls the race up front, and that gives Tiger T a chance. Really good race to mention because there's a couple of horses off dynamic debut wins. Now, Angel Capital was one of those awesome first up 1,000 metres. Got back from a wide barrier there, and the way he won was truly fantastic. And heard Clinton McDonald on SEN come out and say he could be the best horse he's ever had. Now, that surprises me considering it wasn't odds on debut. You're saying that maybe you surprised him on debut, but that was some win. Sectionals were fantastic. Fastest 6.42 of the meeting on debut, which is outstanding. But big couple of concerns for me here. So he's away from his home track. That was his home track win. Different directions, a different way of going, up to 1,200 metres and an awful map.
Is it an awful map?
Well, I think it goes back from there, doesn't it?
I think that's going to be his goal, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that's an awful map for me. First time Sydney, you've got to balance up at a track that does favour horses up and in. So especially if it's on a wet track as well, on a race where we just said there's not a huge amount of speed, it could end up last and have too much to do. And you want these horses balanced at the top of the straight. And first way the other way of going's a little concern. So I can't get Angel Capital down to the price at the moment. I opened forward and lost been well backed. I think it's too short at 320 just because of those concerns. Then you got Rich Dotty, who has a lot of the same queries, but at least she maps really well from barrier 3. And Elmore Zillow stays at 1200. She's ticked the 1200 metre box. Huge run in the first of Sykes, 33 days off. She's a filly that has run this way of going. She's ticked the 1200 metre box. She ran the fastest final 600 metres on the day last start in Championships Day. That's a big effort. Might have been a deteriorating track. But I'll probably lean the way of Elmore Zillow. Just ticks a few more boxes. But just query on Angel Capital at the price.
What about I haven't mentioned this horse in the run sheet, but Bitter Creek. I think he ran behind Aardvark first start, and he was really good behind Growing Empire, who I think looks a pretty smart horse. I thought he was a little bit missed by the market too. Just another Victorian that was obviously hasn't won a race, but they've sent him up there because they clearly have a nice opinion of him.
I like the booking of Shin there. It'll probably be a little bit more closer. But drawn to 8s, whether he sits 3 wide on speed or something, it's a little tricky map.
So I'm sticking with a filly that I've been with from the jump outs, Rich Dotty. She tried like a bomb before she debuted at Caulfield. She box seated and she was too good switching back to the inside. She gets the right draw. Tim Clark in the saddle with 55. She could possibly, she let up the Grand Bend jump out before she debuted and she clearly speared away. I was surprised they didn't lead at Caulfield. So I would like to see her even just go to the top and control things and, take bad luck out of the equation. If they do box seat, you've got to, get away from the fence at some stage.
Could just camp straight behind Tiger Tie.
Yeah. But at the price, I was really happy to be with her. As you mentioned with McDonald's horse, Angel Capital, he said this morning on radio they'll be going back. So I've got no doubt best horse in the race, but he also knows this isn't the grand final.
If he wins, it's going to be enormous.
It will be, yeah.
Yeah, and I really respect when Clinton McDonald says something and speaks. He's very honest. He was really bullish about Hayasugi all through the Blue Diamond previews, preludes as well. So he certainly doesn't keep his cards close to his chest in that respect. I'm actually going to back both. They're at a price where you can back both. There's been a bit of money around for Rich Dotty. She's still 850, but the double figures got snapped up pretty quickly. She looks classy. Love what she did. Tim Clark going on's a positive booking. Think she can roll forward from that barrier, be close to the speed. And Angel Capital, well, he could just be a freak, and I want to be with him, and I think we can make something. So Rich Dotty, best result, but Angel Capital will not be losing. We'll still have a small win on Angel Capital. So that's how I'm going to play the Spirit of Boom Classic, boys. Let's move on to race number 7 now, which is the listed Magic Millions Bright Shadow. It's for the fillies and mares over 1100. Majestic Shot won the race last year. Written Beauty in 2022, and Outback Barbie won it in 2021. Do you have an opinion on this one, Tom?
Huge amount of speed. I've got Parasail on top, clearly on top. With the scratching of Typhoon Tavi as well from barrier 21. Parasail's just a map horse, ticks a lot of boxes, maps perfectly. McDonald on, high rating race. Go and have a look at how well McDonald rode last week up there. He just pulled their pants down. He was so balanced. It was superb. That race rated really well last start. First up win. Rated 4.5 lengths faster than class average, that win. So big weight, but map offsets that in my opinion. Horse to beat. Parasail race 7, number 1.
Yeah, I haven't got a strong opinion. I'm definitely not going to be against him, but I'm probably not going to back him. I haven't done enough of this race. There's obviously a lot of Queensland horses in it, but he basically catches your eye straight away when you go through the field. Obviously, James Cummings and McDonald, and then you see the difference in weight. But going off what you all said, Tom, he's going to be hard to beat with the good run.
See, a bit of a sleeping giant this Queensland Carnival, James Cummings. I feel like he hasn't he's been a bit quiet of late, particularly in these feature races in the Carnival. So it might just be a big Queensland perhaps brewing for Godolphin here.
Didn't have any good 2-year-olds. Oh, they had a couple, but
Traffic Warden was probably
the one that got out to a mile just recently. I think they're still broadcasting.
a couple, but not like they didn't.
I think they're heading.
Slipper and Blue Diamond.
I think they're heading to the JJ Atkins, the broad siding.
Yep. I'm going to stick with a local here in Chinny Boom. I think she goes good. She's a nice mare, building a formidable record in Queensland. And she races best fresh and presents here 5 weeks between runs, maps to get an economical run in behind the speed from barrier 1, and she's around $5.56, I think. So I'm going to have something small on Chinny Boom as well in race number 7, boys. Let's take a look now at the feature race. Race number 8, the Group 1 Doomben 10,000 weight for age, 1,200 metres. Giga Kick won the race last year, of course, and Marzu in 2022 and Eduardo in 2021. It's all the talk's been about, I wish I win here. You look back through, he's 2 rivals here that beat him in the TJ, but he's come up very short, $2, drawn barrier 1. James McDonald obviously goes on, which was a bit of a talking point as well. Are you looking at I wish I win, wanting to dive in at even money? I might start with you first, Reece, or is it a race that you sort of want to shoulder arms to?
Yeah, look, I'm having a bet, but it's not him, and I'm actually going to lay I wish I win, which is pretty bold. But I think a lot of people are in the opinion that there was a lot of improvement out of his first up run because he was so long off. But I was pretty convinced he was there to run very well. I don't think he's a horse that they would like to take to the races a little bit underdone. I think he's there whenever he goes to the races these days. He's pretty close to being cherry ripe. He's going to get soft ground again, which he obviously likes, but I'm just not convinced that there's that much difference between him and Chain of Lightning and also the likes of Bella Nipotina. I think in a way he's a little bit on the way down. I wish I win. I don't think he's an older horse that's going to continue to improve. I think he's reached his peak.
You're right.
And he might, just because I know he's not the soundest horse going around. I think he's been incredibly well managed and placed to perfection because he's a horse that loves sting out of the ground. So we found the right conditions first up, I thought, in Sydney. And you'll probably find really good conditions for him again Saturday at Doomben. But I couldn't have him anywhere near that price. I think you get the JMac tax a bit more. I think you would have been closer to $3 if Trumpy was on him, which I don't think's right either. I think Trumpy knows him better than anyone. So I'm laying him, and I'm going to back Bella Nipotina, who has seen more of the country than I have. But if anyone's going to pull it off, it's going to be Kieran Maher. They know what they're doing. They've got that much data to know that this mare, if she hasn't galloped right leading up to this race, they wouldn't bother. They'd have enough background on her to know if she was right. She's got a good draw. She loves sting out of the ground. I know Willow's really confident. They were obviously spread across the track in the TJ in Sydney, and I really like her. So I think at the price, $7.50, something like that, I'll be each way with her and happy to lay. I wish I win.
Where's the track rating fall where it goes genuine advantage Bella Nipotina versus I wish I win? So we talk about the horses liking give out of the ground. What do you think I wish I win's ideal track rating would be?
As wet as it could possibly be. Like that TJ was obviously pretty wet, and I think for him, although it was first up, I think a lot of people think the wet track first up might have been a hindrance to him, but I think it actually really suits him. I think he's a dead set mudlark. I think he goes better this day and age, and his age, I think he goes a lot better on that ground. So honestly, I think it's going to suit majority of the horses that are going to be in play here. But if it was on firm ground, I'd probably be even more against him. So yeah, I think the wetter the better for him. But I think it's going to be, from the forecast, we're on a 7 already, chance of a few showers. I think it's going to stay in that region. This is the second last race of the day, so it's going to be pretty well chopped up. I don't know, could that possibly be a disadvantage gate 1 by this time of the day, Tom? Or are you expecting the fence to stay okay all day?
He'll also need a bit of luck from there too.
Well, we saw what, did he draw one in the Everest 2 years ago?
It's a very similar setup.
It's obviously a different field.
But it is a very similar setup. He's going to need some luck.
Yeah, last year, sorry. Yeah.
Tommy?
Is this race at Doomben or Renwick? Like Moody, Pride, Mar, Moody, Waller, Bjorn Baker. There's one.
Stephanie McNettiger.
Bodie Bob. Bodie Bob is the leader here at 4,001.
Bodie Bob won his maiden at Warragul.
There you go. There you go. Does he lead a Group 1?
Is it Body Bob or
Body Bob?
Are we going
Body Bob? Sorry.
Body?
I reckon it's Body Bob.
Who knows?
That's the word.
Yeah. They lead here, surely. Yeah. If you've got a $4,000 shot.
What do you got to lose?
Yeah.
Clear
they
speed influence.
They pick up $18,000 no matter what.
There we go.
If they lead and put the pedal down, they might hold on to 5th and somehow double that. A fascinating setup. I think it's a fascinating race. So I think Private Eye has to lead. Now you look at Private Eye, or not lead, but at least be handy.
Yeah.
Best chance of winning is leading. He's led and run second behind Imperatrice in a Group 1. Then he's gone back and beaten 4 runners home in his 2 races since then, going back, and then he comes out and leads and he runs third in all age. Go figure. Might be something in that, guys. Potentially roll
Blake's
forward.
The type of rider to do that type of thing too.
100%.
He's very much a positive rider.
Have to roll forward, don't you? In a race like this. I wish I win's an easy horse to like. He's best horse in the race. He's proven at that. He's won really well on Everest on a good and won a TJ on a heavy 9. I thought he was good. He ran the fastest 400 metres at the meeting first up. Stays at 1200. Clearly the horse to beat in my opinion. Do I want to take the price? No, I think I need 250 plus to entertain betting. Espiona. I like the small field for Espiona.
I was about to ask, is anyone going to mention it?
Exactly.
Like the small field for her because she can stay in touch. She's got to be a chance. And I also love Steffi Magnetica, so it's not a race I'm too keen to bet on.
Yeah, I'm not betting either. I'm just really interested to see where the track gets to here because I think that plays a massive part. I'm the heavier it goes, I think advantage the likes of Bella Nipotina and Chain of Lightning. So I'm staying out for now. But yeah, you're right, Tommy. Fascinating race is the Group 1 Doomben 10,000. Race 9 is the Group 3 Rough Habit Plate. It's for the 3-year-olds, set weights 2,000 metres. Last year's edition was won by Special Sway from the Vowels and Stroke of Luck. Autumn Angel comes up a short price favourite here, and look, for all intents and purposes, she's the best horse in the race, Tom.
Yeah, she is. Now, out of those through the Queensland Guineas, Kintyre won that. Presslink 3rd, Chica Mojita 4th, Port Lockroy 7th. I've looked away from that form, and because of that, I know you're going to mention a horse that ties in as well through the Packer Plate, Gold Bullion, but I went with Autumn Angel, and by now we'll have a fair idea of how the track's playing and if you can make ground. You could get to this race, Nick, and she can't win if she goes back to last. But if the track's fair and they are making ground, she's clearly the best horse in the race. Her ratings are through the roof compared to these. Her handicap rating's 106 compared to next best is Kintyre with 92. So that's a huge difference.
I want to ask just Reece on Autumn Angel. She's had 5 weeks between runs, so since that Group 1 win in the ATC Oaks, and she's no doubt got now Group 1 targets in the Derby and the Oaks in Queensland on her calendar. She comes back here 5 weeks, 2,000 metres. What sort of fitness level is she going to be at here? Do you think the stable's done a lot with her?
No, I'm guessing not a lot because I'm a little surprised she hasn't had just a quiet jump out.
Fitness surely not an issue.
No, I don't think fitness. I don't think fitness is an issue because I'm pretty sure she's not a massive gross doing filly anyway.
Yeah.
And she's obviously had the travelling from Melbourne to Sydney. Yep. She ran on the first week there when it was pretty wet, and then she backed up 7 days later and got the job done, and then she's had to fly to Queensland. So I don't think fitness is going to be the issue here. Of course, she's back in trip 2. I think probably where she gets to in the run and how far off she's going to be. I mean, they're going to have to go back. And then all of a sudden, if you get in this race where you're 20 lengths off them, if it's a really fast speed, she's got to make up massive ground. Fitness, in a way, might actually catch up with it because she might have to make a long, sustained run around a lot of tiring horses. And she might just get fan out the last 50, 100 by something that's just had the plum run, 3, 4 pairs back. So that's my knock on her. No doubt, ratings say she's the best filly in the race. I think you'd have to be, blind to Freddie to not see that. But the draw has to be some type of hindrance. And of course, she has got other targets, going ahead. But in saying that, I don't think they're going to be stopping her from winning, that type of thing. I think the win's not going to do any damage. If she's good enough to win, she'll be there.
Yeah, if she was 2,000 to 2,000 with 5 weeks, then I'd be a little bit concerned. But 2,400 metres back to 2,000, I can't get away from her. I don't want to lose if she wins. I concede the map query for her, and you're probably going to make a case around the map and intent here, which is a salient point. But she's clearly the best horse in the race, and she's on top for me. She's just better than him. So hopefully she gets into the clear and can run home well. Did you want to make a case for Gold Bullion?
Yeah, I do, because I want to go the other way and be on something that's on speed, particularly at this price. Gold Bullion will no doubt probably lead the race. If not, he'll be second.
Yep.
He ties in with Kintyre, who is basically second favourite with Tannhauser. Good old Tannhauser. He hasn't won since Christmas 2 years ago.
Won on protest.
Did he?
Yeah, that race.
Wow.
Yep.
So when was he last? First past the post?
Oh, last start, Kintyre.
No, Tannhauser we were talking about.
Sorry, I was talking about Kintyre won the Frank Peck.
Yes, sorry, yes. So Kintyre beat Gold
Kintyre.
Bullion 2 starts ago in Sydney.
Yep.
And Gold Bullion's, interestingly, I generally Gay I thought would go the other way and send him straight to up to Queensland and possibly, go the same way Kintyre did. But she's elected to, I guess, back off a little bit and give him the trial in between. And hopefully, I hope is setting him for a race like this. I don't think they've got any hefty ambitions for him. I think a group win like this would be really good for his CV. But look, he's drawn well. Tim Clark, he'll probably go to the top. And you've got Autumn Angel, who's hopefully going to go all the way back to near last because she's got bigger races in store. So I thought him at the price. I thought him and Kentire should have been a lot closer together in price, in my opinion. So I was happy to be with Gold Bullion 1/3.
Yep, I'm laying Autumn Angel. I just think she's going to be a long way off them drawing 14. They're just going to have no other option but to snag back from there. And there's not a lot of tempo in this race. So the race shape's going to be really important to her chances. It might be a touch out of her hands. And she's got Group 1s ahead in Queensland. So I just question how close she has been to her grand final for this, if they've just stepped it off with her a little bit, and then this will just be a bit of a bridging run to the Derby. So a lay for Autumn Angel for me in the rough habit. We've got a 2-day racing spectacular at Scone, Tommy, which I know you're going to be keen to touch on a Friday race there in Scone Cup a little bit later, but we'll look at the Saturday card first. Yep. We're going off Broadway a little bit in New South Wales of late, aren't we, with some of these tracks? We're even getting them moved further off Broadway midweek. So I'm glad we didn't sit down and do the Newcastle form last week on layback. We would have been spewing.
If we had played Gosford.
Yeah, that would have been toys out of Haylock's pram sort of areas.
This doesn't take much.
To be fair,
Like completely different track.
Yeah. Scone, rails +3, soft 6 at the moment.
Yeah, ran on a good track last year. Track played really well. Horses, 3 out of the first 4 races were won by horses drawn barrier 1. I think the other one was drawn 2. So definitely no disadvantage to be inside early, but they were winning from everywhere late. So track played really well last year. Soft 6. Big track, I think it'll be pretty fair, mate. So looking forward to a good day.
Reece, are you a fan of these Saturday meetings all over Australia? Like when we go to Mornington, we have our days at Ballarat, etc.
Absolutely. Yep, I think it's great for racing. It gets boring. You just race at the same 3 tracks in town on a Saturday every Saturday. I know punters might not like it because they don't have all the data on these other tracks. It's too bad. You got to drag crowds in and things like that. I think it's great. I don't know if anyone was at Mornington the other day, but the crowds they get at Mornington on the peninsula are massive. And
it's good.
The crowds are something to do with racing heading in the right direction. You need people to be on course. So, I think it's great. And, I hope my hometown Pakenham gets back to their Saturday meeting, standalone Saturday. I think they will. They had the Cup slotted into a Friday night meeting this year, but I'm pretty sure they're going to go back to having a Saturday meeting next season. So, I think they're really good.
I think last week at Newcastle, because it got moved, they had the knitting and crochet expo on at the track. I'm not even joking.
That could be, But I don't fancy the late transfers for those type of places. That wouldn't be ideal. But
just on that, I agree with your points. Turnover drops significantly if they go Saturday to Bendigo or Saturday to Gosford instead of Randwick.
Is that just to do with data and what people know
confidence,
and don't know?
What they know.
Because at the end of the day, Bendigo's a terrific track. Like it's got a 400-meter run in. It's got great starting points. So there shouldn't really be any reason for anyone to be less confident, except for you don't have the data in front of you because it's not week in, week out.
And that's also why race clubs have named the Heath the inner track Caulfield, and same with Randwick Kensington. That's why it's called Randwick, because it just instills more confidence in punters. So
there we go. Bit of sales there.
Yeah,
know that. You learn something new on Layback with Betfair every single day.
True.
Well, let's put the knitting and crochet to the side and go to race 7, Tommy, which is the listed Ortensia Stakes. It's run over 1,100 metres. James Cummings has a good record in this race. Viridine winning in 2019, Athelric taking out last year's edition, and he has Parasol and Spacewalk as key chances this year. I'm not sure Parasol will go here.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
Yeah.
Yes, Cummings and Godolphin had a good record at this day, I think.
I think I heard Gator say Parasol is going further north.
Yep, that makes sense.
Good.
Opal Ridge won the Luskin Star last year this day, so comes up here. I like horses that have got patterns like that. Bomb Fresh Horse, Barrier 14 shouldn't be too bad. Immense first up record, as I said. She's the horse that I went looking for, Opal Ridge. Concussion plates off first time. I don't know whether you like that as a trainer, which is interesting, but she's the horse I went looking for. I need to do a bit more work in the race. I've got her on top.
Yeah, I'm strongly with her. You've basically mentioned everything there, Tom. She's a bomb fresh. She ran second to Front Page, first up last prep. She's 2 from 2 on the track. There's 9 races tomorrow, and then she's in race 7 Saturday. I'll dead set eat my hat if they're not getting away from the fence on soft ground
Yep.
by this time of the day. I think she's a great bet. Yeah, I'm just strongly with her. I think Luke sort of sets her up for this meeting most years. She was impressive here last year, and I can't see why she can't be winning again Saturday.
Yep, there were far too many pieces of the puzzle that I couldn't fill out in this one, so I've left that on Mum's dining table. This 3,000-piece puzzle here, so I'm not having a bet. Race number 8, the Group 3 Dark Jewel Classic, 1,400 metres. We're both getting involved here, Tommy. We like the race.
I don't know who you're with. One of the best betting races of the day for me. Dark Jewel Classic.
You're having 3 of them, so I'd want to be.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
Can't wait for his best at the end of the show.
Shorts leads this easily. Ruthless Dane's been costly. Fascinating horse here, down from a Group 1. Now, that's a late form, but she's got to carry 61, as you mentioned. Come race 8 today. Barry 15 might not be too bad. She was enormous in the Queen of the Turf. She hit the line really strongly there. They went slowly. She's run 10.84 between the 4 and the 2. Fourth fastest 400 of the day, coming up a Group 1. It's exceptional form back to a Group 3, but just has to carry the weight, and she needs to win again now. It's been a while. She's only had 3 wins to her name. I went looking away from the Hawkesbury Crown, where 9 of these come through. Not a race I'm really keen to bet into. $40 winner, first 5 was split by a length and a half. So went away from that, and I found a couple here. Fall for Cindy. She's a smaller play, but I am very bullish French Endeavour at a massive price here. Couple of things that I like about French Endeavour is number 16, she is. She went around favourite in Group 3, 2 starts back. Drew wide on that really wet day that Conasana got up the fence. God bless him. Don't know if you know, I tipped Conasana that day. Scarlet Oak obviously ran second there. He's come out and franked the form. She started favourite in that Group 3 2 back. That tells me she's good enough to win this just on starting profile alone. She then went to the Hawkesbury Guineas in a race that was dominated on speed. She ran the second fastest final 200 metres of the day there at Hawkesbury. I think it's the right form. I think it's better than the Hawkesbury Crown form. I've got a big opinion of Schwartz. The stable have a big opinion of Schwartz, and this filly ran a really good race behind. As I said, second fastest 200 of the day there when the race was dominated by the leader there. So if you forgive her last 2, I think she's a major player here, and she was $21 or something. It was a huge price. So, I think the market's missed her, and I'm very bullish each way. French Endeavour at a massive price. I think she has to outperform her SP there.
$21, French Endeavour. $5 to place corporates if you're that way inclined. Reece?
Yeah, look, I'm not having a bet in the race, but I am a fan of her. I was with her when she ran down here in Melbourne. I think she might have ran second or third at a good price too. So the only little query I'd have on her is she's 7 runs in to her first prep, and not her first prep, into this prep. So there will be a finishing point at some point. I just hope it's not obviously on the weekend for your case, but the 3-year-old filly, couple of taxing runs. She's been from Sydney to Melbourne, back to Sydney. That would be my slight query, but hopefully she's still got one left in her.
I'm going with the Hawkesbury Crown form that you mentioned, and I really liked the run of Banana Queen in that race. She was first up, she was touched slow away, and she presented with a big, wide, sweeping run. I love that she steps to 1,400 metres here. Last time she stepped to 1,400 metres in her previous preparation, she was third behind Espiona and a Tissue. She drops 5 kilos off that first up run. Looks very well placed. Banana Queen in a fillies and mares Group 3. So I'm with her at around $6.50 in the Dark Jewel. We'll touch on race 9 as well, boys. It's the listed Luskin Star Stakes over 1,300 metres. Opal Ridge, as Tommy mentioned earlier, won this race last year, flying crazy in 2022, and Lost and Running won the race in 2021. Are you keen to get involved, mate?
Looks good speed on. You've got much better Fierce and Amenable. I think Amenable probably gets the suck in behind them. Maps really well. Got to be a chance. Has race fitness on a few of these. Big second placing in a Group 1 All-Age Stakes. It's almost like Ruthless Dane the start prior. The form lines coming from this race are superior, but got to lug a big weight. He obviously was well backed into George Ryder before that, and took a star to beat him at Flemington in Von Hawk.
I knew he'd get that in that stage throughout the show.
That was first up, but got to be a major player. Amenable. He's a good horse, and obviously running well this prep as a gelding. Brings that George Ryder in all age form. The other one is Jimmy Star. Now, if you've been on Jimmy Star at $1.75, you have to butter up here at $5. He's had no chance his last two, really. He
has connections. He hasn't had a chance all prep.
He's never had a chance, even when he wins. He's an amazing horse. Is
He's
he?
amazing for racing.
Amazing in the fact that everyone's talking about it.
Yeah, that's good.
I think he's a very good horse.
All media is good media.
He's the most talked about benchmark 78 rudder you've ever seen.
This is a horse that was $3 to win a Doncaster a couple of months ago.
He was going to be the All-Star Miles saviour at one point.
Correct. And now he's going around in a race at Scone at $5. Newcastle run just completely forgive.
We forget quick, don't we? We forget really quick. Yeah. I reckon you're making a really good point here, Tommy.
Newcastle, who was held up on the inside, had none. Leader kicked and won that. He wins, in my opinion, if he gets out there. So you're seeing a 7th on the form guide. And then last start, he pulled up with thumps. And he still ran 3rd and still ran pretty good sectionals late.
How much does the thumps affect him, Tom?
You tell me. That's an excuse.
He's put it down as an excuse. It does.
So his pace.
I know.
No, but I just wanted to know what he was going to say after. How much effect does it have?
Different levels of thumps.
I like that. That's good, Tommy. No, you've nailed it. That's good.
Thank you. No, still ran second fastest 600 and 200 of the race, Jimmy Star there. So you're getting $5. If you've backed him at all in this campaign and not collected, have to have something on him. I'm with him. Him and Amenable for me. Tommy 2-play.
Yeah, I'm just hoping Cream rises to the top here. Amenable, he brings the best form, no doubt about it. Good draw. Tommy Berry in the saddle. He needs Sting out of the ground. He's a horse that obviously had his clear issues. And cutting the ground is his main key. Even if it does dry up between now and then, as second last race of the 2-day carnival, it'll be well chopped up. So if he gets even luck, I think he'd be incredibly hard to beat.
There's a horse here at double figures in Kinloch that's having a really consistent prep at the moment, and probably does bring an inferior form line with races in like the Tamworth Cup and Muswellbrook Cup, where he's been runner-up in both of those. But he's so honest. He's very consistent. I think he maps really well to be finishing over the top. He's down in the weights and can have worse double figure bets than Kinloch. So I'm just going to spec Kinloch each way.
It's funny. He's second at Tamworth last up, but the Gringotts form actually ties in pretty good.
Yeah. Yep. No, I got a powerful finish on him this day. So
he generally doesn't win unless he's about 20s, I think, Kinloch.
Yeah.
So
he won first up at $31, I think, at Rose Hill. Yeah. Before we get to our lay streak and Tommy can reset, we need to go to and just have a bit of a squiz at tomorrow's Scone Cup, which is race 8 on Friday. And Tom, you're going to preview the race quickly for our layback with Betfair listeners.
Yeah, the Scone Cup, 600 metres Friday. Good race. Caboose First Emergency looks on speed, influence here, and you'd think he'd get a start being First Emergency. He'll kick up from barrier 1. Attractable's got speed as well. Sabak ran second in the Golden Mile at Bendigo, had a trial post that, came in with race fitness to that trial, but I loved how Charterhouse went in that trial, went straight past Sabak, went through the line. I think, I put my trial files, Kevin, I think is a huge price here. Now, I don't know what you make of this and whether you think this is a sign of intent, but he went to Scone to trial prior to this first up run and prior to that Sabak trial. He's been here. I think it's a good ploy. He'll go back, which is a concern, but he'll be charging late. First up for this day, we mentioned the Mars table throughout the show. I think he's really, really well placed here. He won the Cranbourne Cup off a 6-week break. I know his first up record says it's not very good on paper, but off that 6-week break, he won a Cranbourne Cup at a similar price. I love the trial. Big market watch for me. I wouldn't be surprised if the market comes for him, and if it does, I will be with him in a big way. And I think he's a stupid price bet.
I think he's a good pickup there, Tony, because he's been a great horse to me. I was with him when he won that Cranbourne Cup, and from memory, it was a pretty fast run race, and he looked sort of no hope. He came off the bottle 700, 800 out, but he continued to find the line under Declan Bates. So if you think he's trialled up good, well then I'd be happy to back that in. He probably is a silly price. So
what do you make of him going to Scone to trial first trial? Is it showing him the track? Is it any sort of intent?
Interesting because Scone's not a tricky track. It's a very wide, long running. I'm not sure. That it's probably a good question for the team to know why they actually did that. I couldn't give you the exact
It's a positive
reason.
lead for me heading into the Scone Cup. Anyway.
If you've had a look around, it cannot be a negative in any way, shape, or form, can it?
Yeah, that's right.
Boys, lay streak time. Let's head there. Last week, Reece, you laid Roll on High to place. I talked you into laying the place. There was some key scratchings out of the race, and then
shitting myself.
she ended up rolling it around. Roll on High ended up rolling in at around $3, I think, to win. And
has she finished?
I think she. You certainly. She certainly lost and didn't finish in the placing. So you go to $233.33 liability after laying her to place. So
I'm off the baseline.
You are. Yep, you're going well. So what's going to be your lay bet for this week as part of the lay streak?
I'm going to be pretty ballsy again, and I'm going to lay I Wish I Win to win. I'm happy to risk him at that price. I've got no doubt he's, the best horse in the race, but I'm not convinced that he is at his best at this stage of his career, and I think he might be on a slight.
Call.
I know.
He's a 5-year-old.
Yeah. How many starts has he had?
19.
Yeah, so he hasn't been overly taxed for a reason. I don't think he's a horse that's going to be heading overseas anytime soon or something like that. I think he's unfortunately at the twilight of his career, which I just think it's an amazing job that the horse has got to where he is now. He was born with bent legs, so he's done a massive job. There's no disrespect to how he's been going or how they've got him here, but I just thought at the price he's roughly $2, and Chain of Lightning beat him 2 back, and Bella Nipotina also beat him. And I know everyone might think he had more improvement into this run, but I'm not convinced that he wasn't pretty wound up for his run in the TJ. So I'll take him on.
He makes a strong case, laying I Wish I Win to win. I would have loved to hear Reece say that 3 times really fast. Tommy, you laid Corniche last week, who got the job done, so your liability's back to $100. How are you spending your 100?
Yeah, I'm taking on Angel Capital. I think last week I was undecided about who to lay and ended up with that, and got egg on my face a little bit.
What could your other one be that you were tossing up with to lay last week? Yeah.
Last week I didn't have many, so I just went with the horse that I thought Steffi Magnetica was going to beat.
Right. Old Steffi.
Yeah, I know. Don't know if we
So
heard.
Angel Capital laying
Angel
to win.
Capital. Now, away from home track on debut, obviously different direction up 1,200 metres, potentially a wet track, maps to be back last. Going to be a huge win if he wins, and I think 320 is short enough.
Yep. I just got out of jail last week. I laid Molly Bloom to win, and I've got $145 liability off that, and I'm laying Autumn Angel for all the reasons that we spoke about during the show. So Autumn Angel for me is my lay streak bet this week. Let's close off with some of our best bets, because we've gone to 3 tracks, 4 if you include the double at Scone there on the Friday. Where are some of our better bets falling this week, Tom?
Tricky, very tricky. I like what I said in the Scone Cup, Charterhouse at a massive price at 30-1. I'm pretty keen to play on Jimmy Star and Amenable. Tommy Tupou there in the Luskin Stars, one of my best betting races, and I don't mind. I'm not going to lose if Ruthless Dame wins, but French Endeavour each way is a nice price as well. So a couple of value on a tricky day.
It's got a value feel about it this weekend, doesn't it?
Wet tracks around too. You can generally bob up some long price.
Fingers crossed.
I'm going to Scone also, but on Saturday in the Ortensia Stakes, I think Oval Ridge, she loves winning at this meeting. She's a bomb fresh. She loves her home track. She loves cutting the ground. She's drawn off the track late on the second day of the carnival, so she's going to be my best bet of the day.
I've got a best play of the day in race 3 at Flemington. It's a 78 for the fillies and mares. I'm going to back Neonce and More Mum, who come through the same race. Neonce, she blew the start.
Over race.
Yeah, and she SP'd $1.45. She blew the start. She still finished off pretty well considering, so she can certainly make amends here if she's on her best behaviour. But More Mum won that race. She's come up $19, which is disrespectful.
There was no
flick
to the win, really.
Yeah, and Jayla Kennedy claims, so she actually gets in lighter than last start, so meets some of the key rivals better after beating them. So, and she finds the best part of the track again. So Neonce is around $2.90, More Mum's around $19 in race 3 at Flemington. I'm going to be playing those two for a good result.
Well. Jayla Kennedy?
Yeah, she's super. We spoke to her about her recent. I know she's ridden a few of your horses.
Yep.
She looks, and I don't want to be disrespectful to any other apprentices, but she looks more than that 3 kilo point and shoot apprentice. She looks like she's got a real racing mind.
Yeah, no, I put her on the map. There's not much else to say. I give her a go early door.
No, she hasn't ridden the map.
No,
not
that's
yet.
where my head
Not
went.
yet.
I was
She
like,
might-
I think Damien Lane's on the map this week.
She might be on the first Tuesday in November though.
Yeah, right.
No, she's a great talent,
She had a couple
Jayla.
Wednesday.
Yeah,
Oh, what is
she
that?
is a great talent, Jayla, and unfortunately for me, I don't have good enough horses for her to continue to ride.
Oh,
but
really?
we've got a really good strike rate together, Jayla and I. But yeah, I identified her early doors as a smart rider. What's wrong with that? I did. That's why I was putting her on some of my horses,
Yes.
even though now they're not quick enough for her. So
She's
she's
gone
gone
past you.
she is going through the grades. She is going through the grades. If she
Does
was a
she remember you?
racehorse, probably not. No, I wouldn't have thought so. I think she has lost my number.
Well, I think we can
hopefully
finish the show on this note, Tony.
hopefully when she rides the map in the Melbourne Cup, she'll give me a mention. Though.
Oh, I put her on the map. Wow.
I was thinking is Reece picked the map up in
Yeah.
some English digital. I'm pretty sure that
More
horse is going
chance of
pretty
that
well at the
happening.
moment.
Yeah, probably.
Thank you for joining us again on Layback with Betfair. All the best across the weekend, wherever you're betting. Gamble responsibly. And we'll be back in your ears and on your screens next week on Layback with Betfair.
Imagine what you could be buying instead. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.